It's going to be made by parents. It's going to be decisions going to be made by schools.
Will they play? Governor Dewine dropped some major hints about high school sports this fall.
I was reported by MLB security being out in public and coming back late to curfew.
Not an apology. Zach Plezak posts a video justifying his night out with friends in Chicago. Jim Donovan is here with his take.
Know your rights. 3 really good resources for teachers concerned about returning to class, plus new back-to-school guidelines from the White House.
No masks allowed. A sheriff makes national headlines by banning his deputies from wearing them indoors and outside.
Pandemic home buying. From open houses to putting in a bid, what to expect if you want to take advantage of great mortgage rates.
And happy Left-Handers Day. Some fun facts about southpaws you may not have known. What's New starts now.
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
I can write my name left-handed.
Whoa, really?
It's very, Violet and I are on the same level of printing.
It looks like 5-year-old print.
When it comes to the left-handed. Good evening, everybody. I'm Betsy Kling. Jay Crawford joining me here in studio with What's New, starting off at 5 o'clock. And boy, I tell you what, we've had another busy news day today, although not quite as busy as the last couple of days, so we have a little time to kind of shake down.
A little bit. Betsy, good afternoon to you. Good afternoon to everybody at home. Thanks for watching What's New. We're following the evolving drama inside the Indians clubhouse, and it is a drama. Jimmy Donovan is going to join us in just a minute to talk more about that. Bets?
But first, here's what's new on the coronavirus front. Within the last 24 hours, 1,178 new COVID cases were reported here in Ohio. That's very close to our 21-day average.
Yes, it is. Betsy, looking at other major indicators, starting with the positivity rate, that clicked up a bit today. It's up to 5.6% today, which is actually a full percentage point from where it was yesterday. But the good news here is our 7-day rolling average on that positivity rate is exactly at 5%. That's the WHO's recommended threshold. That is the first time our 7-day average has been that low since June 27th. Maybe we're going in the right direction here. As for hospitalizations statewide, that number went down today. 32 fewer patients in hospitals statewide, 952 is the number there. And our deaths were also down day to day from 26 yesterday to 21 today. That number also, Betsy, below our 3-week rolling average. Also new today, Governor Mike DeWine revealed he will make an announcement about high school sports Tuesday. Yeah. Haven't we been talking about this for weeks?
For weeks and weeks. The kids are in, the kids are out, they're going to practice, they don't know what's going on. And so finally now we have to wait until Tuesday to hear what the governor, the state level, says about these kids getting in on their sports. Laura Caso has been kind of navigating through all of this information that came at us today. And Laura, did the governor give any hints as to which direction he's leaning?
He did. We got a few hints, but again, a formal announcement will be made August 18th. And of course, I will be listening to that for you at home. But today, what's new? Well, Betsy, he did say the state will put some restrictions in place. The governor said he's been consulting with parents, schools, and the Ohio High School Athletics Association. One of the restrictions that has already been decided for the state will limit the number of fans or spectators allowed to attend games. The governor said, listen, this is about the kids, and he's now working out the details this weekend for everyone in sports. Ultimately, he said the decision will be made by parents and schools.
We want the athletes to compete. We want the young people to have their season, but we want to do it as safely as possible. And so this will be a little disruptive for some people, but what we want to make sure is that the parents, people who are, mean a lot to that particular child, have the opportunity to see them. And then for the rest of us, we'll have to hear about the game, or maybe it'll be, we can pick it up on the internet, YouTube.
DeWine's announcement regarding sports comes after weeks of anticipation heading into the season. Now, under Ohio's current order regarding sports, athletes in contact sports have to get a coronavirus test before each competition. Spectators not allowed to attend games. However, this is important. The lieutenant governor said earlier this month that is not the order the state intends to use this fall. So a lot there. Something else, though, that's new today from the governor I want to hit on. The governor announced the state's minority health strike force completed its final report. This is big news. And there are 34 recommendations. Dewine said today COVID-19 has disproportionately impacted the African-American community at 25% of the state's cases. Betsy.
Well, I think, every day we get more and more information coming out from the state, and some of these major decisions obviously take some time to do. These kids that are playing sports, they are battling for scholarship money, many of them. So this is not only a decision to be made now, but it has implication and impacts years down the road.
Exactly.
Such a big deal. All right, Laura, thank you so much. Jay?
All right, now on to your feed at 5. More fallout from the COVID rules controversy going on with our Cleveland Indians.
I understand that there are risks people are taking to play this game, and the last thing I would want to do is put anybody at risk.
All right, that's Indians pitcher Zach Plesac. Today, he made and posted a 6.5-minute video on Instagram. He shared his take on the whole controversy, and he addressed the backlash that he and teammate Mike Clevenger have been receiving for breaking Major League Baseball protocols while in Chicago last weekend. We've got to bring in Jimmy Donovan to talk more about this post. Jimmy, you saw it. What's your takeaway from Plesac's message here? What did you make of it?
Well, I'll tell you what, Jay, I think, first of all, another bad day for the Indians. On an off day for the Indians, they're not playing. They'll be in Detroit tomorrow. But I think the Indians wanted this off day to kind of calm this whole story down, to get away from it, because it's been going on really since Sunday night and all week long. Is there a problem inside the clubhouse? Have these two pitchers lost the trust of their teammates? But Zach Plesac took care of that today when he posted a 6.5-minute video on Instagram. In the video, there is no apology, though he does state, yes, he broke Major League Baseball rules and Indians team rules. But he says the real villain in all of this is, of course, the media.
Media has portrayed me and my best friend and teammate to be malicious with our actions when we were really, not justifying what we did because we left the hotel and according to new rules, we weren't supposed to leave. But according to CDC and these guidelines with Corona, we were practicing safe practices in a small group with people who we know have been tested and came back to our curfew late, which was 10 p.m. and clearly been exposed as being bad teammates, bad people, and dragged across the mud,
All right, so I have to be honest with you, Jay, and everybody else out there. He lost me right away when he said the media is painting him and his teammate to be bad guys, bad teammates, because that's just too easy these days of an excuse. That goes from the White House to Progressive Field now, obviously, inside the Indians clubhouse. I mean, that is the dog ate my homework, okay? He's going to have to do much better than that. The other thing, really, this thing reached a boiling point, not from the media, but nobody forced Adam Plutko to go up after the game the other night and say what he said, which was, these two guys lied to us, okay? You guys heard them. They stood up here and they lied to us. The other thing that really I don't understand is that he said in the video, and we'll hear more throughout our newscast, he also said basically he had done a lot of research about this. He has a brother who's diabetic. He has a mother who is a nurse. Now, what surprises me about his knowledge and his research about coronavirus is he also has a teammate that's fighting leukemia. Yeah. He has a coaching staff that's up there in age. He has teammates. I don't think his problem right now is with you and me and the media. I think his problem is when he goes back into the clubhouse, it's the guy that's going to be sitting 6 feet next to him on his left, 6 feet next to him on his right. The problem he has is with his teammates right now. He needed to apologize.
Yeah, and what's odd is it seemingly had shifted from him to Clevenger, and now the spotlight's kind of back on him after this 6.5-minute video, by the way, made while he was driving a motor vehicle. I'm not sure that that's the safest thing in the world to do. Jimmy, quickly before we go, 8 teams will make the playoffs in each the American and National League. After tomorrow night's game, the season is a third of the way through, and the Indians would be in that final spot. They're dead last in hitting. The bats have been anemic. Yeah. Too early to panic?
No, because nothing is too early in a 60-game season. And as you said, after tomorrow, 40 games left to go, they have to start hitting, Jay. They kind of really beat down the old religious rule in baseball that pitching wins. Right now, they have great pitching, but it's not winning because the offense is so poor. No, I think with what's going on at the plate and whatever's going on in that clubhouse, there is reason to worry.
Absolutely. Team batting average, 195. Dead last by a lot. Jimmy, we'll see you at 6 in sports. Thanks.
Thank you.
Bets?
Oh, boy, lots going on around downtown Cleveland and whatnot. We want to bring in, of course, Russ Mitchell with some of the other headlines that are making news this afternoon. Hi there, Russ.
Hey, Betsy. Hey, Jay. Good afternoon, everybody. A small bright spot on the unemployment front today. Nearly 21,000 unemployment claims were filed last week. That is, of course, high, but it's down 5,000 from the week before. Nationally, 963,000 filed. That's the first time layoffs fell below 1 million in 5 months. Some dentists are disputing a new recommendation from the World Health Organization that routine dental visits should be postponed in areas with high COVID-19 numbers. Dr. Chris Theodoros is a dentist in Strongsville. He says safety is his main concern.
Each chair has a high vacuum HEPA filter with almost like a cone that goes in front of the patient's mouth. So when we do drill on the patient or we try and clean them, any aerosol created, it is being captured by that HEPA filter.
The American Dental Association issued a statement saying it respectfully yet strongly disagrees with the WHO's recommendation. The WHO did note that people should still go to the dentist for urgent or emergency dental issues. And Amc Theaters is opening about 100 of its theaters next Thursday, and then we'll continue to reopen locations in the weeks ahead. In Ohio, the first to open will be in the Columbus area. And to kick this off, get this, AMC will offer 15-cent tickets, calling it Movies in 2020 at 1920 prices. I think these movies will have sound, unlike movies back in 1920, perhaps.
Right? I call that, please, please, please help us save our business because they are hurting like nobody's business.
Oh, big time.
Oh, my goodness. All right, Russ, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Well, this is a very interesting story. A Florida sheriff is creating a lot of controversy. The Marion County Sheriff, Billy Woods, posted a sign on the office's front door that reads, "Anyone entering this facility must remove their mask." Yep, you heard that right. Now, the sheriff does not want anyone inside with a mask on. The order to remove masks came a few days after the city of Ocala passed an emergency order requiring everyone to wear a mask when entering a business. The sheriff says the order exempts government entities, so he decided that his team will not wear masks. He says it's in an effort to keep clear communication. Now, the few exemptions include the courthouse, schools, or hospitals. Okay, so to me, this is communication going like this because it's in Florida, which has not exactly, been real quiet in this whole coronavirus thing. But I find it very interesting that the sheriff would open up the city's buildings and saying no masks, like mandating no masks.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing to not put a mask mandate in place. Okay, I mean, that's whatever.
Right.
Here you're prohibiting masks.
Yeah.
That seems to defy a lot of what we know about them. And I know that the masks have become this huge flashpoint and debate point for everybody. But I just can't get my mind around the idea that you would tell anybody at this point you're not allowed to wear a mask. Mm-hmm. I don't think that's very prudent.
Well, and what about the rights of the people who want to wear their masks?
Exactly.
We're not talking about rights anymore. You know, it's my right to wear one. It's my right not to wear one. Well, if I have a right and I am allowed to, I am going to wear one. Now you're telling me I can't have that right. So it's an interesting talker. And I think it kind of shoots down the middle between the people who are saying they have their rights to not wear a mask. And there's people who are saying they have their rights to wear a mask. So maybe there's some room for discussion.
I think so. Definitely has to be some wiggle room. Mm-hmm. All right, still ahead on What's New. The pandemic is changing the way we're buying houses, and it's a good way for buyers. The new things that sellers and realtors are doing to entice buyers. Plus, what buyers need to know before entering a house. It's a little different now.
It is, and with the flu season right around the corner, because this is 2020 and that's the direction things are going. Don't forget, there's still more to come. Staying healthy is more important than ever before. Now, we have easy ways to help you boost your immune system.
And Matt Wentz, what's coming up in the forecast?
Hi, Jay. My photographer is at a doctor's appointment, so the production quality is really stinky on these. I apologize for that, but I'll tell you what's not stinky is the warmth and the sunshine basking on us once again, but that will change as we go into the weekend. We're still tracking those rainfall chances. We'll detail the timing of that coming up.
Well, record low mortgage rates are putting homes within reach for buyers who may not have been able to afford it before. But COVID, as we all know, has transformed everything, including the home buying process. Consumer investigator Danielle Serino shows us what's new in the home buying market.
Come across a couple situations with some houses where they've been booked up for days before we can get in.
Looking to buy a home in the age of COVID? Be prepared to hurry up and wait. Jennifer Lou's been house hunting for 2 months and has found the day of big open houses and cattle call showings are over.
They would book the appointments so tightly together that there was times when you were walking in and somebody was walking out, or there was somebody still in there touring while you were touring. And so now I'm noticing that we're usually the only ones ever in there.
And if there is someone else, you're waiting outside for them to leave. Once inside, there's a whole new protocol as well.
It's obviously for in-person showings with masks and taking shoes off before you enter a house and hand sanitizer.
Many realtors are providing video tours to cut down on in-person visits. Some even hosting virtual open houses like this one in Bracknell, which even had entertainment. But some people are buying without ever stepping into the home, especially out-of-towners who may have to quarantine after crossing state lines.
It looks a lot different in photos and videos than when you're there in person. There's a whole different feel. Hard to buy a house without actually physically seeing it.
But a recent survey by Zillow found 36% of respondents say they're more likely to try and buy a home entirely online during the pandemic. And more of them are looking in the suburbs, especially those now needing home offices.
The value of the city to us was being around all the people, being able to go to all the restaurants and the culture, like the museums and the plays and everything. And so you remove all of that, it's difficult to justify paying the rent, being in a small confined space, and having no access to being outdoors by yourself.
Another change, no more reams of paper to sign or face-to-face contact for mortgages or closings. Many states, like Ohio, now allow signatures to be notarized remotely, which means closings happen quicker.
Do you acknowledge that this electronic signature on this page to be yours?
Yes.
And that takes us to one of the only things that hasn't changed when buying a home during COVID: competition and disappointment for buyers.
I actually bid $16,000 over asking price, but even then I didn't get it. It's been kind of a whirlwind, and unfortunately haven't really found anything that I love since.
Danielle Serino, 3 News.
Oh, it definitely would be different. The biggest purchase of your life, and you're not actually getting to physically be in the space. The other part is you can't smell it. I have a huge problem with that. I've walked in some places and they stink, and you're like, ooh, it's yours.
Got to kick the tires in every aspect, and
Oy.
that would be a problem for a lot of people, I know. Matt thinks that's funny, by the way. All right, hey, Matt, you ready for your weather word today?
I was born ready, Jay.
Okay, see if you can work the word peace into your forecast. Because President Trump, along with Israel and the United Arab Emirates today, announced a historic peace agreement between the two Middle East countries. This is the first time that's happened in decades, and it's making big news worldwide. So peace in the Middle East, finally. That could be a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely, Jay. Peace in our household's one thing, but the Middle East, that's another thing. So fantastic. And Betsy, just to throw this out at you, I totally agree with the smell factor. So when we're getting ready to sell our house, we're going to have to get the smell of cat litter out. That'll be quite a monumental task.
Baked chocolate chip cookies.
That's a great. I'm going to have to make several batches there, Jay. It reeks. It's like a zoo in there. That's why I'm outside. All right, your wind right now. I never start a forecast with wind, but let's talk about the wind. It's gusty up towards the lakeshore out of the northeast, a little bit lighter down to the south, but it's out of the northeast. Why do I show this? Because look at the temperatures. It was a hot day from Akron over towards Portage County, anywhere south of there, basically. Dover sitting at 93, but the shadow of the lake water temperatures still in the 70s. There's some humidity coming with that maritime air as well, but notice how the temperatures are cooler near the lakeshore and all the way back into Erie and Huron counties. The humidity pretty equal across the board. It's humid once again. This moisture continues to work back in after our brief dry spell, and you can see it is thick all across the eastern half of the country. Where that moisture is thickest and where they have a little bit of lift to create some clouds, we've got numerous showers and storms down to our south as expected. 2 waves of low pressure. You can see one off the eastern seaboard. That may become tropical, but the one we're watching is down towards areas of Missouri. This little thing is going to waffle its way up towards the Ohio Valley, just bringing us some scattered rainfall chances this weekend, and even some rainfall in the forecast as we go throughout the evening. I would not be surprised if those little bubbles you see out towards areas of Pennsylvania meander into Stark County and Tuscarawas and Carroll counties over the next couple hours. You may have some rain there before the evening's out. Your patio forecast tonight, though, we're not expecting widespread rain at all. We'll be in the 70s. It will be beautiful outside of the heat. Your National Design Mart hour by our forecast, you can see the atmosphere at peace overnight tonight. We'll have mainly clear skies mixed with some of those high clouds. But your Friday will deal with more clouds. I don't think we're going to have a lot of rain on the forecast tomorrow, as most of that moisture will be working its way in here. But an early look at the weekend, this is what we're looking at on Saturday. There's your chance of some isolated to scattered showers in the afternoon. And that's how it's going to be. Your Universal Windows Direct 7-day forecast. We're going to have more dry hours than not this weekend, but still we'll run the risk of some pop-up downpours Saturday, Sunday. Fall-like air still in the forecast for next week. We'll be back with Clicking in Cleveland after the break.
want to revisit that hot topic from earlier in the show. Zach Plesac, the Indians pitcher, sent home from Chicago for violating the team's COVID protocol by going out with friends. He posted that 6.5-minute video on Instagram sharing his side of what happened while the team was in Chicago. In the video, he admits he was reported by Major League Baseball security for breaking curfew and being out in public, but he also says that his night out with friends didn't violate CDC guidelines because there were only 8 people in his party. Our digital anchor, Stephanie Haney, has been monitoring your comments online. Steph, what are fans saying?
Jay, overall, people are not happy with Plesac for focusing on the CDC safety guidelines over baseball rules in his video today. Viewer Amanda Wisda says he should apologize and leave it at that, and the longer he keeps running his mouth, the worse it looks. John Prelog said it's baseball rules that matter here, and if Plesac doesn't like those rules, then he can quit and get a real job like the rest of the 99% out there. But at least one teammate is showing public support for Plesac. Center fielder Delino DeShields commented on Plesac's video with 2 flexing emojis and wrote, "Stay up." Switching gears here, it is International Left-Handers Day, so we have a few fun facts for you. The Simpsons creator Matt Groening is left-handed, so he made the star of the show, Bart Simpson, left-handed too. You can see that when he writes on the chalkboard in the opening credits. And according to Left-Handers International, left-handers are great at swimming. Here's lefty Olympic medalist Josh Davis to prove it. We have more lefty facts on WKYC.com for all of you left-handers out there. And the Cleveland Clinic is sharing surprising tips on how we can boost our immune systems. According to preventative medicine physician and wellness expert Dr. Sandra Darling, she says meditating, even for just a few minutes, can help us do that and release our anxiety. And also exercising for 10 minutes and positive thinking, Jay, which was the most surprising to me. Very simple, and we have more tips on WKYC.com and the WKYC app.
That's very important stuff because doctors say one of the most important things we can do is boost our immune system. Thank you very much. Coming up next on What's New, there are still a lot of concerns and questions from kids and from teachers out there on how to stay safe when they go back to school. We're going to break down the legal rights of teachers when What's New comes right back.
And we have loved watching him on the field and all of the after-career activities Joe Thomas has been doing. But what's he been up to lately? Well, of course, Mike Polk is the perfect person to catch up with one of Cleveland's biggest celebs.
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
And welcome back to our Channel 3 studios. What's new? Made it to Thursday. We made it, Bets. We made it one more day. And you know what comes after that. Right? We're finally at the weekend. With Betsy Kling, I'm Jay Crawford. I hope you're having a great Thursday. It's beautiful out there.
It is. It's toasty, and it's kind of interesting. You know, we're here in Cleveland. We have the lake influence, so we're sitting in the low 80s. We're like, oh, it's just a beautiful day. Meanwhile, Dover, New Philadelphia, it's like 93 degrees, and they're sweating it out. So we'll have a big update on the forecast, which includes some rain chances this weekend. Matt will have that.
Yeah, the breeze off the lake, even if it is 75 or whatever the lake temperature is, it feels good. I wouldn't want to be landlocked right now. All right, here we go. Bets. A recent national poll found that 83% of teachers are concerned about going back to classrooms for in-person learning. 2/3 say they prefer remote learning.
I mean, it's a really big deal, and there's really been no guidance on what to do when, and teachers do have rights. Here's NBC senior business correspondent Stephanie Rule with what teachers need to know before school starts.
Jay and Betsy, there is still so much in the air as it relates to going back to school, especially for America's teachers. The Kaiser Foundation just did research and learned 1 out of every 4 teachers are at a higher risk of getting seriously ill with COVID. So this is when you turn to the Americans with Disabilities Act. Go to the EEOC website. If you're a teacher in this situation, there may be more protections afforded to you. Reach out to your superintendent, your teachers union. If you are someone in a more vulnerable position, you've got to raise your hand now. If, on the other hand, you're a teacher who is heading back to the classroom, you must put health and safety first. Just last night, the White House put out new guidelines reminding schools everyone should be wearing masks, social distance when you can, go outside when you can, frequently wash hands, and sanitize everything possible. They're also encouraging families to try to have students bring as many of their own supplies as possible. This is not the year to be sharing. And something teachers must do, lead by example. Kids out there are frustrated, they're angry, we get that. But we need them to understand these rules and regulations, they're not punishments, they're precautions we all need to take. So don't just tell our students to do it. Please, we've got to all do it ourselves. Leading by example is going to hopefully lead us through this. Jay, Betsy?
All right, Stephanie, thank you very much. And Bets, that's great information. It really is. Stephanie's going to have more about schools, teachers, and students. And this is on just about everybody's mind. It's coming up tonight's NBC special, Coronavirus and the Classroom. I think if you're a parent, Betsy, and you're getting ready to have your kids either go back to school or even if you're learning at home, this is must-see television. Starts right here on 3 News at 8 o'clock tonight. Okay, it is just a couple of minutes past the bottom of the hour right now. Time to check in with our good friend Russ Mitchell for other stories topping headlines this Thursday. Russ, hello again.
Hello again, Jay. Here's what's happening. Some big news out of the Middle East. Israel and the United Arab Emirates have agreed to a peace deal that the U.S. brokered. That deal establishes full diplomatic relations between the two countries. It also requires Israel to halt its plan to annex the occupied West Bank land sought by the Palestinians. This is the third deal Israel has made with an Arab country, after Egypt and Jordan, and a key policy victory for the White House. United Airlines is adding new daily nonstop flights this fall to 4 popular Florida destinations. You'll be able to travel from Hopkins to Fort Lauderdale, Fort Myers, Orlando, and Tampa. Those flights begin in early November and will last through the second week of January. Tickets are on sale right now. And the Dallas Cowboys will play in front of fans this fall. Jerry World there. Owner Jerry Jones says the team will abide by health guidelines, including having the stadium at 50% capacity. Jones says the NFL is an inspiration to the country. He says it's important for fans to be a part of that. Once again, shows what Jerry wants, Jerry gets.
You know, Russ, I could have predicted this. I knew that there was going to be one team that would do this first. No surprise to me that it's Jerry and the Dallas Cowboys. It's going to be very interesting to see now what other NFL teams do to follow suit, because I'm sure there are going to be a lot more that say, look, if Dallas is having fans, we want fans too. Otherwise, look at the home field advantage that teams will lose if their stadiums are empty. It's going to be interesting to see what happens.
Jerry does not play, as they say.
No, he does not. Russ, thank you very much. We'll see you 25 minutes from now.
Right.
Bets?
All right, everybody, if you've never been there, really, it should be a destination spot for you. Gervasi Winery in Canton, they're growing, and they have some new things that they're going to be offering. Soon, they're going to roll out 2 new bourbons, a brandy cask bourbon and a rum barrel bourbon. The pandemic has made their outside piazza extremely popular, so next year, they're going to be expanding and adding more seating, fire pits, and overall improve the live music stage experience. Now, Gervasi also got a huge recognition. TripAdvisor just awarded the winery with its 2020 Traveler's Choice Award. That puts it in its hotel operations among the top 10% in the world.
This award is based on reviewers, so it's really the public saying that we are one of the top 10 in the world, so we're really excited about that.
Well, the property has Tuscan-inspired villas, a boutique hotel, and a restored farmhouse for guests to stay in.
Now to one of our favorite segments in the show. We call it Show Us Something Good. Betsy, I saw this video and it just melted my heart. It comes from Chad, whose son and dog are inseparable. The dog is so patient. Betsy, German Shepherds are among the greatest dogs for kids because A, they're protective, and B, they're so tolerant. This young guy is thrashing this German all over the sofa. At one point, he's going to throw his head down and use his beautiful German Shepherd as a pillow, and there's not a single objection. The dog just laying there like a good friend does, and that made me smile. I love that.
That is so cute. Definitely growing up together, if you will.
His best friend.
Definitely. Sweet. All right, now we have 2 for you today. This picture comes to us from Denise in Ashtabula. It's a picture of her dog, Link. She says he fell asleep while he was chewing on his bone. Look, he's got it right there. He had a busy day at the dog park, so now it looks like he's obviously living the rough life. Get it?
Oh, I see what
you see. What
that's
I
a
did
dad
there?
joke. You
Yeah.
just made a dad joke.
Kind of is a dad joke.
You did, yeah.
I'm sorry.
I would expect that from me, not from you, Beth. Just saying.
All right. Well, did you know we're on Baby Watch?
Yes, we are.
We have details on 2 celebrity couples getting ready to become parents next in Pop Break. And
I would say 3 celebrity couples,
right?
Because speaking of people on Baby Watch, Matt, what's going on outside, my friend?
Hi there, Betsy. We've got heat building back into the forecast over the next couple days, and that will come with some shower and thunderstorm chances. We'll have that, and hopefully my photographer back when we come up with your forecast in just a couple minutes.
Today's Left-Handers Day. 8 U.S. presidents are left-handed, but what percent of the world, Betsy, is left-handed? There's your choices, 10, 15, 25%. Think about it, Bets. Think about it at home. The answer when What's New comes right back. All right, before the break, we asked you what percentage of the world is left-handed. Betsy, any guesses?
I'm going to go with 15%.
See, I would have gone 25% because, I mean, it's odd, but it's not that odd. It's weird. It's 10%.
Only 10%.
1 out of every 10 are left-handed. The highest rate of lefties are found in North America, Australia, New Zealand, and Western Europe. And how about this little fun fact? 1 in 4 Apollo astronauts were left-handed.
Well, that's kind of cool.
They have a much greater chance of becoming an astronaut, I suppose.
Apparently. Now, my Aunt Sandy was left-handed, but she's not an astronaut. There's that.
Maybe she could have been.
She could have been the other 3 of the 4, right?
All right, absolutely.
All right, well, we go from the pop quiz to pop break now. 2 high-profile celebrity couples are about to be parents. Plus, we have the scoop on Hollywood's highest-paid actors. Here's all the details for you in today's pop break.
Forbes has released their annual list of highest paid actors in Hollywood, and The Rock is at the top. The Jumanji actor took the #1 spot, raking in a total of $87.5 million in 2019. The other actors taking the top spots include Ryan Reynolds, Mark Wahlberg, Ben Affleck, and Vin Diesel. The combined total from the top 10 list is more than $445 million. Now, by comparison, last year's top actresses earned roughly half of that number, so it'll be interesting to see how it turns out when they release their list at the end of the month. We've officially gotten a look at Meghan and Harry's new home in Santa Barbara, California. The property is valued at $14.7 million and has 9 bedrooms and 16 baths. It all sits on almost half an acre of land, and yes, there is a private playground for little Archie to play on. Not to mention the spectacular views of the ocean, a private pool and garden, a wine cellar. This is hopefully going to be their forever home. Now, keep in mind, they've moved 3 times since 2019. And according to multiple reports, Katy Perry is finally in labor after what feels like the longest celebrity pregnancy in history. Perry announced that she was pregnant in her Never Worn White music video back in March, and she's documented her progress on Instagram over the past 5 months. And speaking of baby news, the Daily Mail is reporting that international pop star Ed Sheeran and wife Cherry Seaborn are also expecting a baby. Sources say that the couple are getting ready to welcome a new bundle of joy in the coming weeks. It's a great day. Celebrities and babies.
See, there you go. Now you're all caught up with the stuff that may or may not impact you. And who needs 16 bathrooms? Come on.
9 bedrooms? But here's the thing. When you're used to living the way he's lived his entire life,
right?
Like, you can't go with like a 3-bedroom ranch.
Right? But I mean, who's going to use all 16 bathrooms? It's like every time you go to a different bathroom. Like, make it a game. Scavenger hunt.
You could, for the entire month, if you used a different bathroom, you would only have to use the same bathroom twice a month.
That's a good point.
Wow.
And I pity the fool who has to clean that thing.
It's
right?
not them. I guarantee you that.
It definitely isn't. All right, Matt, baby news. Anything on the baby front yet?
Yeah, anytime now, Betsy. She's back from her doctor's appointment, and the idea is maybe this weekend, but you can't plan things like that. But
we're not planning anything.
She's moving along.
Baby, take your time.
You can plan things, Matt. My daughter was coming up on her due date, and the doctor just said, if you don't have it before your due date, we'll induce, and you'll have it on your due date. And that's what happened just 2 months ago. So you could plan it.
That's right. Yes. Well, we could. I think we're okay without planning it. She's she goes all natural, which is crazy.
Wow.
I give her so much credit, but
amazing.
she's done both completely naturally.
Props to her.
Yeah. If I get a mosquito on me, I am crying like crazy. So different breed, my wife is for sure. Anyway, so weather-wise this weekend, you're going to be in good hands. We've got the heat down to the south. We've got the cooler air, as Betsy was mentioning earlier, coming off the lakefront. So 2 really different air masses across the viewing area right now. And notice how it gets a little bit cooler just to the east of Carrollton. Yeah, we've got some downpours that I think will bubble their way into areas of Carroll County and Tuscarawas, even Stark County as we go throughout the evening. Rest of us will be dry, but the reason why we're cooler near the lake, it's the shadow of the lake. We've got a strong wind blowing off that 75-degree lake water. It helps to cool it just a little bit, but it does bring in more humidity. The bigger picture, this is going to be our setup over the course of the weekend. You can see it's just a messy weather map. Nothing really moves this time of year. There's no steering current, so everything just kind of bubbles off of what happened the day before. What we're going to keep our eye on is not that low pressure over towards North Carolina. It's the one that you see swirling around down towards Arkansas, Utah, areas of southern Illinois and the Tennessee Valley. This little area of upper air low and kind of the moisture with it is going to slowly work its way in our direction. It's not going to be a washout by any means this weekend, but we're just going to introduce the afternoon, mainly afternoon chance for some showers and thunderstorms. You can see a couple of those downpours just to the east of Carroll County. Again, we'll keep an eye on that this evening. It won't be a washout this evening by any means either. All right, let's take you through it with your National Design Mart hour by hour forecast. You can see overnight tonight, most of us dry. We'll have temperatures that, with this humidity that's gone up, temperatures are going to go up as well. We'll be near 70 to start your Friday. And then as we go throughout the day, we'll have a mix of clouds and sunshine, much like today. I do think we'll have more clouds, especially later in the day, as some of those storms bubble up in and around Ohio. We'll likely see some of the high clouds off of that. But it's going to be another hot, humid day. Most of us up near 90 as you get away from the lake. As you get towards the lake, we'll likely be in the mid, even some upper 80s. For your Friday night plans, we'll be okay. We may have an isolated shower, otherwise we're dry. And that will lead us into Saturday. That's when I think the bulk of this moisture gets here Saturday and Sunday. And again, it's just going to be scattered. This is likely what the radar is going to look like throughout the day. Some of you getting rain, others seeing sunshine. Where we see the most sun, we'll likely have another day up in the upper 80s. Where we see more clouds and some of the rainfall around, will likely stay in the low 80s. The newest drought monitor's out, and it's a good news drought monitor. Abnormally dry category's gone down, so our drought has gotten a little bit better, but the moderate drought still exists at the same percentage. So we could use the rain area wide. Universal Windows Direct 7-day forecast. There's your chances over the weekend. But look at next week. By Monday, we get a front in here that brings in much drier air, and we're looking at a beautiful, comfortable week next week. Jay and Betsy.
All righty. Thank you very much, Matt, and good luck if we don't see you tomorrow. Talk about a fun duo. Mike Polk and former Browns player Joe Thomas have a quarantine catch-up. Joe tells us how he's getting through this pandemic.
Plus, you do not want to miss this video. This is absolutely incredible video. Like nothing I have ever seen before. It's about a train and a man stuck on the tracks in a wheelchair. The officer who saves him. Straight ahead.
Real live episode of Chips.
Oh, it's amazing.
Welcome back to What's New. Since the pandemic hit, pretty much all aspects of life have changed. We're all dealing with new realities of spending a lot more time at home. Even famous people are stuck dealing with it, including former Browns player Joe Thomas. Our Mike Polk had a little quarantine catch-up with the offensive tackle about the many ways he's staying busy.
Here at 3 News, we've been catching up with some notable Clevelanders to see how they've been holding up during these last few months. Selfishly, I saw this as the perfect opportunity to try and establish a friendship with legendary Browns lineman Joe Thomas, under the guise of lightweight journalism. And I can't speak for him, but I thought we hit it off great.
I know you're not technically in Cleveland all the time, but you'll always be a Clevelander whether you like it or not. You're stuck with us. It is a burden. Our stank is on you, and you cannot run from it.
I'm not sure if I'm important either, but I definitely am stinky, so thank you, Cleveland, for that.
Stinky or not, it's clear Joe's got enough going on to work up a sweat.
I work for the NFL Network. I've got a podcast, The Tomahawk Show with Andrew Hawkins.
He got 2 plugs in there that quickly. We barely even started. No, go ahead.
Most of that revolves around the NFL football season, which, as we all know, typically happens in the fall. It's actually been a great opportunity for me to reconnect with the kids.
This had to be especially weird for you because you are a very active dude. First of all, we took like 20 years of your life, and then as soon as you retired, you lost 175 pounds, you got jacked, and then you started 6 other jobs.
My biggest fear when I retired from the Browns was I'm not going to have a purpose. I'm not going to have anything to wake up, get me out of bed every day. My fear of not finding that purpose and passion led me to finding like 6 or 7 purposes and passions.
Have you prepared any new exciting dishes during quarantine?
The big thing for me is trying to find food that your kids will eat. We do Taco Tuesday, like most red-blooded Americans, and the kids just go bananas for it.
As our friendship grew deeper, Joe revealed that after a rough start, he's managed to keep up some healthy habits while staying home.
I was like feeling sorry for myself like everybody else. After about a week and a half of that, I felt so crappy. Just because it's COVID doesn't mean I can't have a structure or any discipline or should feel sorry for myself. So I kind of went back to my old routine, and it was like a game changer.
But that doesn't mean he isn't finding some time to enjoy his favorite Cleveland refreshment.
One of the cool things that I did in retirement is I partnered with Great Lakes Brewing, and we came out with 73 Kolsch beer, and it's been really popular. It sells out super quick. So this is going to be our 3rd season, and I'm excited because that's one of the things that I didn't drop during quarantine. We wanted something that had some good flavor, but that you could also consume more than 2 before you had to take a mandatory nap.
Right. And of course, what pairs perfectly with drinking while stuck at home right now? Making questionable online purchases.
I've been really big into buying clothes on Amazon, and so I've kind of had this little challenge with myself. Can I find something that I'll wear in public that's under $5? My favorite thing I bought, it is a Hawaiian tank top. I'll have to post a picture.
And he did. And what do we have here? I mean, you don't tag someone unless you're pals. So that means we're officially friends now, right, Joe?
Absolutely. I appreciate you having me on.
Okay, that was manipulative editing, but I still think I accomplished my goal here by abusing my profession to bro out with a Cleveland icon. This is Mike Polk, hardcore fangirling for 3 News.
Bets, I think that Mike got his outfit for less than $5 on Amazon. It's a good look. Mike, I love it. No one pulls it off like you, but that's an interesting look.
I mean, it is cute to see Mike fangirl. I mean, let's be quite honest about that. And, Joe Thomas is just one of the most laid-back, cool dudes. And to see those kids, attacking each other, every other parent has been subject to that in the last several months. So he's just a real cool guy.
And Fanboy works for Mike because it's authentic, and he doesn't run from it, and he embraces it. So I think those are the rules. If you're going to do it, own it, and Mike definitely does. Mike and Joe didn't just talk about food and fashion, by the way. They also talked about football, got his thoughts on the current Browns. You can watch part 2 of the catch-up tomorrow at 7 o'clock. You'll see that on Front Row. Okie doke, Bets.
All right, still ahead on what's new. The video that I'm telling you, you do want to see this. A police officer rescues a man from a wheelchair stuck on the railroad tracks with literally half a second to spare. We have it coming up.
Officer Poncherello.
Whoa. absolutely the most incredible video that you will see today. A California police officer saved a man in his wheelchair who was stuck on railroad tracks. Look, she's running up right now. The man was trying to cross when his wheelchair got stuck. She pulls him. Look how fast the train is coming. Watch. Watch. She's going to turn, and she has to duck out of the way. Look at that. I mean, literally. He was injured, but he's alive, which is a huge difference, obviously. Wow. I mean, just the video just gave me cold chills. I can't believe how fast all of that happened. But great props to that officer. That's an act of bravery right there.
Crisis averted. Absolutely. Incredible video. That's going to do it for our Thursday edition of What's New. We hope you join us tomorrow at 5 o'clock for our week-ending edition of What's New. We'll see you then.